like the case of the former NSA and some of the cases there, a lot of people will say some of these are political prosecutions against the perceived enemies of present dispensation.
Said that $15 billion was given to him and he's unable to account for it. How can you say it's political? It is not political. The evidence is there. Have you not seen the evidence of distribution of money to shifters of PDP by the former National Security Advisor? Have you not heard about cases in court because he was distributing money? Have you not heard about those who have returned monies that were given to them by the former National Security Advisor? So why are you saying it is political?
Those are not my thoughts. Those are the perception of the people of Nigeria that you are serving.
It's only in Nigeria. In China, if you do that in China, you'll be executed. In Nigeria, the elites will try to justify what of the poor man in the street who goes to prison every day because of 5,000 naira. Somebody cannot account for $15 billion and you are talking about political prosecution.
I mean, because it comes to mind when you say you're going through reforms of some of your systems, and the fact remains that some of the people, through the shoddiness of some of your prosecuting agencies, you have wrongly prosecuted and brought into the media space to embarrass, and the court in the end has allowed them go. And in fact, some of your cases are falling flat on their faces.
With due respect to you, I don't want to use very strong language, but I will simply say that you are being speculative. If you make an assertion, you have to produce evidence to back it up. You are just talking, you know, to pander to the sentiments in some sections of the country or some elites, you know, that this war is political. It is not true. We have seen the results. $9 billion was recovered from a former public servant, and you are still saying that the war is political and that we are being wishing people. There's nothing like that.
Because if you were saying that I'm being emotional and talking on sentiments, are you saying that there are no bills that have been granted and the federal government has refused to let those people go? Is that what you're saying? With these cases out there in public?
You are jumping to another question again. You were saying that there are a lot of cases that are politically motivated, and I challenge you to furnish me with facts, and now you are jumping into bail. But let me say that there is no evidence that the federal government has refused to comply with court orders. Give me particulars of the cases, then I will answer you. I don't just want you to make a speculative assertion or statement.
There are no speculations. I've asked you specific questions on this one. But the feeling is that...
Evidence.
Okay, just let me ask you this. Do you feel that corruption is fighting back?
I have given you evidence. I have told you that some judges met before that ruling concerning Judge Ademola was delivered. Where were they meeting? Why must judges meet over a matter that is pending in court? Is that not a breach of their oath of office? And we have seen the propaganda, the lies, that the federal government is not complying with court orders, whereas the evidence is that the federal government has not disobeyed any court order. You also say that we are carrying out a witch hunt, and you have failed to produce evidence that we are carrying out a witch hunt. That is corruption fighting back.
Interesting. We have a legal practitioner who's just joined me in the studio here, Mr. Okechukwu Ikeji. Many thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you so much, Shane, for having me.
Do you think that the federal government is doing a decent job in fighting corruption in Nigeria?
Honestly, I may not be too quick to jump into the arena in terms of saying whether they are doing a decent job or not. In the light of the recent cases where the high courts, the courts of first instance, have given judgments against the cases of the federal government. This is because there are still the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. So until we get to the Supreme Court, if they are willing to take it all the way to the Supreme Court, then we can make an informed opinion whether they are doing the right things or not.
Okay.
But we can set particular templates. We can put down certain templates and allow casual bystanders, people completely disinterested in the cases, people who are just observers, Nigerians who are observing the situations, to make up their minds whether indeed there is enough strength to the fight against corruption. And what do I mean? I mean that prosecution of criminal cases has about 6 steps, 6 levels. Now, in each of these levels, any one level of the ladder that the prosecution or the state fails to prove its case, the entire case crumbles. I will be very simple in my analysis. I won't overload this analysis with cases or statutory provisions so that the viewer would easily follow. The first step is the act or omission itself that is a crime. In all of these steps, one thing we must put in mind is that a crime cannot be committed except 2 things are present. One is the action or omission itself, the physical action of committing the action of the crime, of committing the crime, and the intention. So sometimes you can take somebody's, for example, you can take somebody's item, but you may not have the intention to have deprived that person of the usage thereof. You have not committed a crime, even though you have committed an act of taking. So that must always run through our minds in the analysis I'm about to get into.
Okay, I will allow you come back to give the analysis, and of course we still have Chief Obono-Obla in our Abuja studio, who has been talking to us on the efforts of the federal government, plus Mr. Ikechukwu Ikeji on the efforts of government in the fight against corruption. More on it when we return from this break. Join us again.